Amphibious boat builder Sealegs looks to be moving into a new growth phase after shareholders approved a $6.2 million share issue to Mauritius-based company Avonport Investments. The share issue will see Avonport's stake in Sealegs increase to around 40%, something which has drawn a little bit of criticism from some shareholders. Sealegs has also just announced the establishment of a new European base and has a new partnership with the All Blacks. Well, joining me now to discuss all this is CEO David McKee Wright. Good morning, David.
Morning, Corin.
Busy time for your company. Just first explain to us the move with Avonport. A little bit of criticism there about the need for that share issue. What was the reason for that?
I think there's different ways that one can raise capital. Then you could have raised it as a rights issue to the existing shareholders, or made a placement as we did to a New Zealand stockholder, or ultimately what we did was make a placement to an overseas shareholder. And I think it would always be arguable, but I view it as kind of irrelevant. It won't affect the company's performance, who owns it. It's more about getting the capital to get on with the vision.
Was it just about, well, I mean, are there benefits to that shareholder, or was it just about where you got the capital? I mean, was there a link up with Avonport?
Yeah, I've been looking for money for a little while all over the world, including New Zealand. And I suppose ultimately I chose Avonport because one of the things that appealed to me was when you're raising money, it tends to be all about the contract. That's all people tend to be interested in, how much and the contract. Avonport were quite refreshing in that they had a view to our vision and they really wanted to know our strategy. And if I took the amount of time that I spoke to them, 90% of the time was talking about strategy and how we can get this wonderful asset going forwards quickly. So I also thought that having an overseas shareholder would expose us to the global market. I mean, that's the next step for Sealegs. That's what the last three things you just mentioned are all about. We're taking a step now to becoming a global brand, and having an international shareholder base will assist that.
All right, tell us about this new European base in France.
Part of our strategy again. New Zealand's a great place, as we all know, but it's a small place. The biggest markets in the world are Europe and America. Early this year we opened our American office in Boston, and we're about to replicate that same thing in France to attack the European market. And given Avonport's strong connections in France, we thought that was the most logical place to open the office.
And are you still targeting very much the emergency response area?
It really depends. I mean, we have a selection of boats, and the recreational market tends to adopt first because they can make a decision in a weekend, and the government commercial sales tend to take up to 3 years sometimes to make a decision. So we work them all simultaneously, and the commercial ones come in over time.
All right, then tell us about this partnership with the All Blacks. What's that all about?
Again, all supporting the same strategy, if you like. Sealegs worked very hard for the last 6 years in New Zealand to demonstrate the amphibious market exists. 6 years ago, wheels weren't on boats. No such thing existed. So we had to prove that there was an amphibious market. We had to prove that we could build amphibious boats and get them to market. We needed to prove that there was multiple applications internationally so that we could grow a business and scale it. And we needed to prove that we could make money. As at March 31st, we pretty much proved all those four things, which warranted bringing a new investor in to take us to the next step, to go global. And we sat around thinking, well, how do we go global from New Zealand? We just stood out blatantly. The most successful brand in New Zealand is the All Blacks. And they're very, very successful. Why? Because they win. They're winners. For the last 100 years, they've won 75% of their games. And that association with us will, we can leverage that, their innovation, their strength, their power, that sort of thing. And anybody who's associated with the All Blacks when they're going to Europe gets credibility. The All Blacks are held in awe throughout Europe. So when we sit down to tell someone about the amphibious boat and the amphibious market, you can leverage that credibility.
David McKee Wright, thank you very much for your time from Sealegs.
My pleasure. Thanks, Corin.